Whitney Leavitt, my newest reality TV obsession. If you've had the chance to watch season 1 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you definitely have an opinion on her, and probably a negative one. She is easily the most polarizing cast member of the season, somehow even more unlikable than the swinger/cheater who got arrested for committing domestic violence in front of children. Whitney has a pattern of attention-seeking behavior and a flair for dramatics that combine to make her particularly off-putting. But honestly, I love to see it. This is the exact type of woman I want to see platformed so that my sick, twisted brain can feel better about itself. Whitney has publicly stated that she received a bad edit from producers. To be fair, I can believe that editing made her look worse. We see this time and time again as reality fans. I am curious though, how much of what we love to hate about her is produced, and how much is just who she is. Dive in with me as we take a closer look at season 1 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and explore if Whitney is truly the villain we all think she is. Early on in the season, we find Whitney in the midst of a power struggle with Taylor, the leader of the group. Viewers see Whitney talking behind Taylor's back to the other women. She openly judges Taylor's choices and states that Taylor's arrest shed a bad light on the group. She is particularly upset about a TikTok Taylor posted earlier, which the show alludes to being about the swinger scandal. Instead of bringing these issues to Taylor like an adult, Whitney decides to skip Taylor's baby shower without telling her beforehand. She feels she doesn't have a true relationship with Taylor, so Taylor shouldn't care about anything Whitney says or does. When Whitney doesn't show at the baby shower, Taylor feels blindsided and confused. In post-season interviews, Whitney shares that context was removed from her conflict with Taylor. Whitney claims that the TikTok she was originally upset about was not about the swinger drama directly, but instead about how Taylor felt unsupported during the backlash from the swinger scandal. Even with this added context, Whitney's behavior speaks for itself. The details of why she is upset with Taylor is not what the audience is concerned with. It is purely Whitney's immature behavior that characterizes her as the bad guy. As the season continues, Taylor isn't the only woman Whitney takes issue with. We see Whitney share details about a story involving an intimate moment between one of the women, Demi, and her husband. While the show is very vague on the details, it is clear that fruity cereal was involved. This story was shared in confidence between Demi and some of the women in the group. As a prank, Whitney wraps a box full of fruity cereal and presents it as a gift to Demi at the group's Galentine's party. Demi is not happy with Whitney's behavior. In turn, Whitney is very upset by Demi's response and feels ambushed, immediately flipping the script and casting herself as the victim of the situation. In interviews, Whitney would defend her reaction, again sharing that context was removed or left out by producers. She clarifies that she cleared the fruity cereal prank with Demi beforehand, and that Demi was completely okay with the situation. Then, on camera, Demi acted upset and angry. Whitney felt blindsided by Demi's unexpected reaction, which explains why we see her shift into victim mode so quickly. This situation isn't unexpected by reality TV standards, but I definitely get Whitney's point of view here. Something was definitely orchestrated to make her look worse. Whitney isn't at odds with every woman the entire season. Instead, she has a close relationship with Macy. This relationship is tested, however, when Whitney reaches a breaking point with all the other women in the group. Macy hosts a launch party for her new line of supplements for pregnant women and new mothers. The entire cast is invited, but Whitney, in conflict with all the women except Macy, decides to skip the event. The show makes it seem that everyone was unclear on whether or not Whitney would show. When she does not arrive, all the women unfollow her on social media, symbolically washing their hands of Whitney. After the season aired, Whitney would take to social media to defend herself, particularly on this topic. She shares a screenshot of messages between her and Macy, proving that Macy knew before the launch party that Whitney would not be attending and why. While this does add clarity to the situation, the act of screenshotting and posting private messages wasn't a good look either. In defending herself, she caused even more backlash. Even with added context, most of Whitney's behavior is irritating, making it clear to see why most viewers identify her as the season's villain. I can see obvious signs of production intervention, like we see in all reality shows. An unedited, unproduced reality TV show would have no cohesive storyline, no easily identifiable hero or villain. It just wouldn't be entertaining. And Whitney just happens to be the villain this round. And for the most part, it seems she wasn't that hard to paint as the bad guy. Time will tell if Whitney has learned anything from her villain era. Students of reality TV know that a season 2 reality star is much more evolved and calculated. I think Whitney's emotional and dramatic nature will override her best intentions and give us what we crave. However, I do think public reaction to Whitney will be less intense in season 2. We will see a new villain arise that will direct public rage elsewhere. We will still cringe at Whitney, but I think more of us will find reasons to like her, or just not hate her as much. Whether you love to hate her or just hate her, Whitney has left an impression. One can only hope that the reality gods will continue to bless us in future seasons. As for this season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I'm obsessed.